What is up guys, it's your boy Aswell here, back with another Dragonflight gold farming video. So today we're testing out a brand new gold farm in Dragonflight, at least one that hasn't been covered on this channel before, and we're actually testing out a gold farm that Student uploaded a video about yesterday, and I'm just going to show you his video right here. So it looks like this, and it's called Insane Spawn Rate Solo Dragonflight Gold Farm, and the thumbnail says these will hyperspawn solo, and it's a skinning gold farm. And I'll tell you this right now, it's a pretty good farm for what it is. It's supposed to be a high spawning farm, and that it actually is. And I'm going to be talking about how we set this up. And in Student's video, he said he did not have skinning, so he just tested the actual spawn rate of these mobs. Now, I have been spending quite some time setting up a skinning character to farm with, and based on that, I thought I would go to this location and test out the actual gold per hour from the farm itself, both solo and in a group setup. So that is what we have done on stream. We have streamed this in a 2x4 farming session and tested this exact location, the hyperspawn itself, and how much gold per hour you can expect to get from this location. Okay, so first of all, where is the location? It's located right here in the Azure span, and right now it is tied to a world quest, which might affect the spawn rate, but there's actually a questing location located right about, like, right north of where I am right now, where there's a quest to kill and loot these mobs as well. So these mobs will by themselves, like, naturally have a high spawn rate, but the fact that there's a world quest here right now in Europe might have a slight, like, it might affect the spawn rate slightly, in which case it's worth doing this farm while the world quest is available. But it could be worth checking out when the world quest is not available as well. I can't really tell you, because right now, once again, the world quest is available on Europe, and the world quest will be going away, or like doing a refresh in 1 day and 1 hours, in which case I can go back and test the spawn rate once again. But there's a world quest here right now, which might increase the spawn rate, but they are also tied to regular quests, which means they should have a high spawn rate by default. Secondly, which spec did I use for skinning while doing this? Well, I used the actual bait crafting spec, which I personally think is going to be the highest gold per hour spec right here, because by going 40 out of 40 into elemental infusion, you now learn to craft a titan infusion, which gives you a bunch of rousing orders while you're farming. So from farming here for half an hour, I made 130 rousing orders, which is 13,000 gold just in rousing orders, almost 14,000 gold in just rousing orders. So it's pretty good, and even though the bait itself has a 12-hour cooldown, you can reduce that cooldown massively by doing skinning, and a 2x4 farming group here will kill a lot of mobs. And with the setup that I currently have, you will see that certain points here will reduce the cooldown of it, the bait itself, and even going into this one as well, you will reduce the cooldown even more as well. So by having the setup that I currently have, I reduce the cooldown by 15 minutes every single time I skin one mob, which means that around 50 skins should mean the entire cooldown is wiped clean, so then I can start skinning again. So basically, I get one bait every minute, which is a lot of bait for sure, and that is going to give me even more gold per hour from the farm itself. And by having the mastery element right here, we can now pull in elites as well, which the entire group can skin. So the farm itself can be made even better by everyone in the group having the actual setup that I currently have, but that also requires everyone to have, I think it's 85 points in skinning, which is a lot of points in skinning, which you probably should not expect everyone to have, which is why this farm right here becomes a little bit difficult. Now, before I show you guys the gold per hour, I want to give a massive shout out to everyone who's picked up my Dragonflight Gold Guide so far, and honestly, the feedback and support has been insane on this one. If you haven't checked it out, the link will be down below at the top of the video description, and also the pinned comment as well. And also, when you purchase the guide, you will get access to a private Discord server, and also early access to videos and exclusive videos as well. Right now, we even have probably the best gold farming method in Dragonflight in early access over there, so if you want to check that one out, well, once again, the link to the guide will be down below, and by using the code SOLTIME, you will get it for half price. You can also check out what other people have to say about the guide, so you can see their feedback as well. Like I said, the feedback has been great, and the support has been insane, so thank you guys once again. Now let's check out the VOD from my stream yesterday, where we tested out this farm, and we're going to speed this up a little bit so you can see exactly how we pull, and you can see a little bit about what's going on about the farm here. Okay, so right here you can see roughly what I'm doing. So now I have moved out of the group to place down my bait, because when it's a normal mob, only one person can skin this mob, so you want to make sure that you are getting the skins from the bait that you are putting down, and if it's an elite, you bring that elite back to the group. Now you go back to the group where we currently have a monk statue in the middle, and we are basically just pulling all of these mobs around this location to the statue itself. Right now, there's not too many mobs spawning, but they spawn in packs, and every now and then you won't have that many spawning, but once, like if you get a pack of 4 like right now, all of these ones just spawn, so you can pull all of these ones back to the statue as well. And as long as you have the statue at the right location, you do get a lot of kills per hour. They do hyperspawn quite fast, but the reason why the gold per hour is quite low is that a lot of the mobs you're killing are war queens, and the war queens are giving you adamant scales, which you can see right now. The price of adamant scales is absolutely terrible, and the reason for that is that there's several Drake farms in the Waking Shores, which also gives you adamant scales, and that is basically just driven the price of adamant scales way below the ground. It's also like a supply versus demand issue, where the supply is very high, the demand is very low, which also means the prices are going to get absolutely crushed. And when it comes to resilient leather, you're getting a couple of resilient leathers from this location, but the vast majority of the mobs will be the war queens, which are giving you adamant scales in this location, which is basically just going to devalue the actual farming session by a lot. And I want to say that 90%, maybe let's say 85% of the gold per hour we're getting here is from bait crafting. So if you don't have bait crafting, it's going to be terrible for you, and the only reason we're killing these mobs really is to get a reduction of the cooldown of that bait crafting. You can see right now the gold per hour in the top left, the top right corner. I had to drag it to the top right instead of the top left this time, but you can see right now we've been farming here for 25 minutes and we have made 12,500 gold. It is going to be right around 30,000 gold per hour. We're going to get close to 15,000 by placing our next bait, and as you can see, my bait has already been reset. I've been playing this on 2 times speed in the background, but the bait has a 12-hour cooldown, and you can see it's already been reset, and I'm back again, putting down the bait one more time, infusing it with the Titan infusion, and giving myself rousing orders once again. So now you can see it's a normal mob. We kill the normal mob, and by getting one of these mobs right here, we are getting just about 1,000 gold. So you can see right now we got 6 rousing orders for 636 gold, and one dense hide for 224 gold, but it also requires 2 rousing orders to craft the Titan infusion. So in reality we probably got about 600 gold from one normal mob in that scenario, but that's basically where the gold is coming from. It's a very good farming location though, because they are hyperspawning, and because you are able to trigger that hyperspawning effect, you're getting a lot of kills per hour, and as long as you have the bait crafting set up, you will be making around a baseline of 30,000 gold per hour from this farm. It is by no means an absolutely insane farm if you ask me. It's just like a very average skinning gold farm, but I do think it's one of the best skinning gold farms out there. The reality is, if you want to make skinning as profitable as possible for you, you want the entire group to have the same setup to be able to summon elite creatures from their bait, which requires everyone to have a hefty amount of knowledge points in skinning. But as long as you get that setup, you can easily reach 60 to 70,000 gold per hour right now, which once again isn't really insane, but that's about the upper spectrum you can reach on gold per hour right now in gold farms in Dragonflight, considering the prices of everything has been absolutely plummeting. So I do think skinning has a lot of potential. The farm itself is great if you have the setup for it, but without the setup it becomes very, very bad very, very quickly. And that is once again because you're not getting that many resilient leathers, you're getting more, like way more adamant scales from the location, which also means you're getting more of the lustrous scaled hides instead of the dense hides. So let me just go back to my game right now for a quick sec. So as an example, I managed to get 50 of these lustrous scaled hides on tier 2 and 17 dense hides. If this was like a only resilient leather farm, it would have been great, because the resilient leathers are selling for 3 gold each for a tier 2, while adamant scales are selling for 68 silver for a tier 2, and for a tier 3 of these ones it's 1.5 gold, while these ones right here are about 5 gold. So if all of them gave you leather instead of scales, it would have been worth 3 times as much. And also the lustrous scaled hide is selling for 18 gold for a tier 2, while dense hides are selling for 219 gold. So if you can find a farm that only gives you leather instead of scales, that is going to be a vastly better farm for you in terms of the value of the farm itself. That being said, for skinning, I do think bait crafting is definitely the way to go right now. And once again, you want to have a full group of 8 people that all have at least the setup that I show you right now on the screen, but you also want to have as many points spent into mastery as possible, because right now you can see at 20 points you will now start getting elite creatures that spawn, and elite creatures, everyone in the group and everyone that tags them can skin them. And also by getting 25 points I will now get even more cooldown reduction while skinning, plus 10 finesse while skinning, and once again even more cooldown reduction. And upon learning the last one, you now get to be able to summon rares as well. Instead of just elite or normal mobs, you get rares as well, giving you even more valuable items when looting and when skinning them. So having at least the setup I currently have, but arguably you want to have 25, 40 and 40, and this farm right here should be doing wonders for you. Either way, I just wanted to test the gold per hour from this farm. I just saw it today on student's video, and considering I have skinning, I can go out and test it. Hopefully this video right here was helpful to you, and now maybe you know a little bit more about the gold per hour you can expect to get from the farm, and now you can make an informed decision on whether or not you want to go out and test it for yourself. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping a like down below, and consider subscribing to the channel for more Dragonflight content. We are pumping out gold making, crafting, professions, gold farming, anything you can think about really. I'm just really trying to help you guys understand the expansion and everything that I want to show you guys about the expansion really. So if you're enjoying that process, consider subscribing. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.